Hey, I'm Kegums, and welcome back to MXGP3. I did say back because if you're eagle-eyed this week, you may have seen me put up the first version of this career mode. But since then, there's been a patch, so I decided to restart it. And I noticed that first episode got caught for copyright. The menu music was so loud, you could hear it over myself, really, in that first episode, that I got copyright strikes for it. So I took that video down. I've redone it now, as you're going to see in the background. There's no menu music as well. It's just all custom music, all copyright-free music that I can actually use in the background. So I shouldn't be copyright striked this time around. But as you can see, we're creating the version 2 of the hammer, Kev Hillman. I wanted to choose him from the Philippines, unfortunately not available, so I had to choose Macau. And disappointing options here for the skin colour. Just 4 different types. Again, ridiculous milestone. I haven't tried the character limits on the surname and name yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if you can't go over like 10 characters for, and to be fair, there were not many names that would go over 10 characters, I feel, but yeah, it's still disappointing that it could be limited as well in that aspect. But yeah, I still got to test that out. Number-wise, good to see there's more variation. As you can see, you can go into triple figures now, like a number of riders do in real life. Font style, only 5 different choices. 5 different choices. So the usual for milestone. Disappointing to see. And you can't even change your number font as well. Seriously? And then team name, well, of course, it's going to be Elusive, the old default team name that I usually choose. So that's our rider created version 2 of the hammer, Kev Hillman from Macau. And now we get to choose which bike we want, which manufacturer's bikes we want, as we've got 7 different manufacturers to choose from. We get given an MXGP and MX2 bike from Honda, Husqvarna, Kawasaki, KTM, Suzuki, TM Racing, or Yamaha. And I have affiliations to kind of all the manufacturers. I kind of like Yamaha, or Honda, or Husqvarna, or Kawasaki, or KTM, or Suzuki. Not TM as much, so I went for Suzuki in the end, just like I did in the first version of career mode. And there's no popping in. It's perfectly smooth, this intro video, but it's a nice little touch with these intro videos for your character, for your bike, as well. And that 27 very clear in the front of that bike. And now the tutorials, another disappointing aspect of this game, a downgrade from MXGP2. Not many aspects of the games are downgrade from the previous version, but this definitely was from MXGP2, where you just get pictures now instead of the video. Especially with the starting grid and clutch, I'm still horrible with that, and I'm looking on YouTube now to improve myself, rather than having a little nice intro video here showing you how to do it. Looking at pictures doesn't really help as much, milestone, as I found out. I think for new people to this game as well, it'll be a bit discouraging looking at the tutorial and then just seeing pictures everywhere. I know it's the age of YouTube where we can actually see this online and learn from videos online, but yeah, it's disappointing to see that they didn't have videos in the game like they did with MXGP2 last year. So that's a very disappointing aspect of this game. As you can see, you've got different corner types, holding the clutch to accelerate out the corner. Then you can use like the rear brake around tighter corners, controlling the bike and yourself over the jumps and controlling the air. And scrubs as well. I thought I was doing scrubs in MXGP2. I was just doing loads of whips. And you will see in future episodes where I learn that I'm actually doing scrubs now, I get a bit addicted. I do it about a bit too much, and then it turns all out like Scrub 2 that you're seeing in the background now. So, yeah, you're going to see a few more scrubs, proper scrubs now in MXGP3. So that is the tutorial. Very disappointing, and we're going to be doing some career mode, teasing you a bit here. We're going to hop into career mode, but we're going to look through the options now and show this off again. You've got statistics, got tutorials, you can reset career as well. You can see in your options. So control options, I'm definitely not going to do a keyboard. I can't imagine doing a keyboard. All my fingers will fall off after every race. I feel like I remember when I first got a PC, a tiny PC back in the day, got Commodore McRae Rally 2 with it. I actually played with a keyboard, and yeah, my fingers, I'm surprised I still have them after that experience. But as you can see on the control options, I can't put the rider rate and steer on the same thumbstick like I could in MXGP2, like I'm used to in the MotoGP game. So that's very disappointing again. But when I looked at how you properly do scrubs now, I can understand why Milestone have done that. But yeah, that's another option that's gone backwards from MXGP2. And then in HUD options, yeah, I'm going for yards, I'm Imperial Bastard, and then turn off rider names and rewind. Now, this is a difference from the patch which happened after I did my previous attempt at this intro career video. This is what happened in the patch. They've had more resolution options. The highest was 1920 by 1080, but now you can go up to like even 4K, I think, is the highest you can do. So that's nice that they've had it in. Would have been lovely in the first instance, but at least they've patched it in now. Milestone, as you can see, turn off VSync, do not want that. And here we go, video options in the game for once for Milestone. So this is going to be something different with this Unreal 4 engine, good to see. And this game is actually probably the best optimized multi game by a country mile from the previous engine. So yeah, I'm going on Ultra, I'm going to change a couple of settings, turn ambient occlusion down to low. Remember that was a big frame rate beta on MXGP2. Motion blur, not a fan of, and then dynamic FPS. I don't want my FPS locked on the computer. Are you kidding? So yeah, that's why that's on dynamic FPS. But everything else, as you can see, is on ultra settings. And as I said, I'm running it pretty nicely as well, even recording the game, no real problems. So you can see the gamma correction and audio options as well. And this is where we're going to turn that menu music right off. As I said, had issues with it with my other video, and we're going to turn race music off. I do not like that, and push to talk as well for voice command. The first time I went into an online lobby, I didn't realize I had voice communication to every time. So when I tried to start this live commentary, after 30 seconds I realized I was actually talking to the lobby. So yeah, I'll cut that out of the online videos, but yeah, that's a little story to say. Gotta watch out for push to talk and those options when you go on online lobbies. So yeah, I've turned that off. Now I'm going to show you customization, because they build this up, Milestone, before they released this game. They even had a trailer for customization in this game, and you're going to see in the background it's not actually too different from MXGP2. They built this up, and it's not actually much different that I have found, at least so far. And looking in the background, you've seen some options from the most popular brands, you know, Arrive, from Bell, from Fox, as well for helmets. You're going to see that with your garments as well, your uniform, with Fox as well, with Oakley, with the goggles. And yeah, Oakley's got a few, but it's still mostly related to the riders in the game. And I remember in MXGP2 they actually released DLC for more rider outfits for Ryan Vinapolo and with Antonio Caroni. I swear that's probably close to them. And I was sure to apologise if it's not the Italian legend in MXGP. They released outfits for those two riders. So, there could be more options coming DLC rise for uniforms, for customization. But yeah, a bit disappointing to see that it's not actually been increased that much from what I can tell so far from MXGP2. As you say, I'm not gone through all of the brands. So there might be a couple of brands where there's quite a lot. But as I said, I tried to go for the well-known brands I know, which would be really popular, as seen as I probably don't know half of the brands in this game. So you can see going to Alpine Stars, going to FM, going to Fox as well. So yeah, a bit disappointing in that aspect that they built this up and it doesn't seem like it's actually too different from the previous version of the game. As here we go from the net brace. Not many options at all. That's free. Then we've got loads for FM, got like 10. Then we've got 5 there and only 2. And only 1 for Scott, so not many net brace options, but I'm leaving my rider without net brace for the time being. So that's why I'm showing you customization and why I'm showing, quite a few options as well. It's a bit different than previous Milestone games. With this Unreal 4 engine opening up a few things and, as I said, building up that customization, not being too different in the end. And this is something that they've had it in the game as well. Very popular. 2-stroke bikes. It was cool. It was a popular feature that fans wanted in the previous MXGP games. Fantastic to see it in MXGP3 having these older 2-stroke bikes, 125cc 2-stroke for MX2, and then MXGP has 250cc 2-strokes. As in real life, it's now basically just 4 strokes is the 2 classes, with MX2 having 250cc, as you can see, MXGP having 450cc. But as you see, I'm going through all the different bikes here. As you can see, got a nice little indicator of acceleration, braking power, speed, handling as well to differentiate the bikes. So that's a nice little feature I've had as well. Probably should have been in there in previous games. I can't actually remember seeing it in MXGP2, but Yeah, you've got lots of bikes to buy here. Not too expensive, only around 10,000 credits if you play enough. You know, it should be easy to accumulate a couple of those bikes. But now let's go to the main event. I know you've nicked the options menu. It's so exciting. So welcome to career mode in MXGP3. As here we see the spinning badge that we are trying to win, of course. Has it evolved a bit from MXGP2? I mean, the trolls are a bit nicer. As I am Kev Hillman, as he saw me create, and we have got Jack Fisher here, who's our personal manager. His job is to help find the best contracts in our riding career. So as a rookie, to get noticed, to make the most of our wildcard races. So let's select a sponsor. We've got 3 here. All they want me to do is finish in the top 15. So let's go with Trentino. And yes, we got our first sponsor. By racing with your custom team, you can use the delivery of your contract sponsor. You can find it in the customization menu in the bike's aesthetic modifications. Those are lots of long words, as here is our main screen for career mode when we get back to the menu. As you can see on the left hand side, we've got the interest page where you can check out see how the teams and sponsors are interested in that sign-off. That goes from a 0 to 100% percentage, and if the rate is too low, we need to do more race to improve our reputation. When it reaches 100%, then we'll receive some offers in the first available transfer window. This isn't football, Marston. What are you talking about? As on the right hand side, you've got the social feed of manager will keep us up to date of the opening of the transfer window, then the contract offers, and what the team and sponsor are saying about us and what they expect from us. As well, as you can see, we've got to get at least 12 points in it, so which shouldn't be a problem. And we've got to finish in front of Giuseppe Tropepe. I guess that's close to the right pronunciation. So yeah, the right hand side kind of reminds me of the older MotoGP games, you know, having that feed down the right hand side, that social feed, which keeps you up to date. And we've got no manager emails as well, you know, got the messages instead. And yeah, it's good to see that it's just a bit cleaner, this menu. And as you can see, we've got some skills as well. Our braking, brain ability, thought management, and control gets judged as looking around the compound. This is where we just practice and ride around on our bike. Customization. You can customize our rider or customize our bike. Here's our team interest. Here's our sponsor interest. You can see none of the top teams are interested in MXGP2 or MXGP, as you would expect. And in sponsor interest, none of the top sponsors, well, like GoPro, aren't available in us as well in either class. So here we go as Kev Hillman, the Hammer Hillman from Macau. So before we go to the race, let's actually show you the race options that I've got planned for this series. So 5 that races now, so 3, just a bit longer now. And as you can see, the maximum you can choose is 20, but my fingers will probably just fall off by the end of those races. And we're going to do qualifying races for the first season here in MX2, and then, you know, into the second season we stay with MX2 or we move on to MXGP. Then, you know, we're just going to be doing the races instead. It's just going to be action in this series. And difficulty level, well, we were between hard and realistic in MXGP2. We're going to stick with medium for these wildcard races just to get used to the game and see if we do get better. And then it's probably going to be hard when we get into the actual MX2 season. And we've got pro physics, of course. That's how I like playing my bike games. And got manual transmission, and rewind is off, so we get a bonus of 340%. Not bad. So that's our settings. Let's see what we can do on our Suzuki RMZ 250 in Latvia. As we get a nice intro now of the circuit, and see we can see where the gates are, and then where you get the whole shot. Get a nice jump in the middle of the circuit, and then near the back end of it as well, the big jump downhill. And then the finish line. So nice little intro video for these circuits. Now, let's here we are in qualifying as Hillman, the Hammer. Let's see what we can do in qualifying. And welcome to MXGP3. It looks very different from 2, doesn't it? This Unreal 4 engine allows Milestone to be able to really show us some track deformation and really bring these tracks more to life than
they did in 2. They're a bit narrow at times in 2. Surface a bit lifeless. No real deformation as we get overtaken on our qualifying effort. That's not a good sign. So yeah, it's fantastic seeing the circuits like this, and fantastically detailed surface. Hopefully the track formation is really there as well. So track surface looks nice as the home hero's down on us, and there it is. There's a rut there in the middle of that corner. Just got on the wrong side of it, as you can see, pushed us right. So you're not just battling other riders now, you really are battling the track surface, which is fantastic to see for miles on as well. Look at all the flares to the right hand side. You've got loads of fallers. You've got Siwa, the Swiss rider, as we go into the middle of that. Now using sort of the rear brake there to get around these hairpin corners, and here's that jump that we saw in the intro videos. 400 almost landed on top of us. That corner can go a bit wider and a bit faster in the race, so we've got to keep note of that. So you do a nice whip over the jump. You're going to do a scrub. A bit. Let's go over the mountains near the end of the lap now. And as you said, they've really gone to town on the flares milestone, really trying to create an atmosphere around these circuits. Definitely have achieved it, even though those fences look very high. It looks like they trapped the spectators in there. Got loads of massive flags as well. Got fantastic atmosphere around the track to match the detail that you get in track surface. So many flares. I really did go over what it feels like milestone with those. As we do a 45.3 in qualifying. That's the Hammer. Had an impressive debut. Let's see. So I got to skip time instead of skipping to the next session. As the reason why I'm restarting this career mode, if you actually did see it before, is that there are bugs in that first version. Now they've updated it milestone, and they've had it in screen resolutions that you saw in the options menu, and a little bug fix as well. And we have got the red plate. Good to see that's a feature in the game now. Getting the red plate, not just like you do in real life. You are the leader, and we were the leaderboard was 4 seconds from the Brit on the Husqvarna. Jeffy Earnings on the KTM in 3rd. This game is based on the 2016 season. That's why you're seeing the Dutchman in this class and not in the MXGP class like he is in real life. And then we've got the Swiss rider in 4th, despite his fall. The Frenchman in 5th. Covington in 6th. Petrov, old favourite from MXGP2, in 7th. And you can see Bernardini, Fernandez, and the home hero in 10th. So fantastic qualifying from the Hammer. And as you can see, our reputation increases at the end of each GP according to your position and goals reached. High reputation will attract the interest of increasingly important teams and sponsors, so we earned quite a lot of reputation and credits as well for our wardrobe. And now we also have skills in this game. This kind of reminds me of like it was in Valentino Rossi, the game, another game by Milestone that you've probably seen on this channel as well. And in the game, in Valentino Rossi, the game, you got these skills, and you earned experience points to improve your skills, and it's kind of automatic. And unfortunately, it's automatic again. It's GP3. I would like it for you to be able to decide where you want those skill points to go. But as you can see, your skills are listed here from 0 to 100. Each level increase at the end of each GP. The increase varies based on the position reached. The weather conditions during the race, because we've got rain ability. Now we actually got rain in this game, unlike in MXGP2. And the starting level. So the better position, the greater increase. Wet and dry. Rain and dry. Sure, it should be wet and dry, depending on which positions will improve and to what extent. The higher the starting level, the harder it will be to move on to the next level. So that's a very good feature to see in this game as well, carried over from, I said, Valentino Rossi the game. But again, I would like it like in sports games, like with Madden, like with NBA 2K17 or the 2K series. No way you can manually improve your skills instead of having it automatically done. But very good qualifying. Let's see what we can do in the race. As here we are lined up for our first race in MXGP3 in career mode. Part 2. As we've got the 15-second block up by the Monster Energy Girl, and they don't actually look like blocks in this game, so that's another improvement. As we get away, we get a shocking stop. We're definitely not getting a whole shot for this 5-lap race, remember. Slightly long going. Collision model seems to be improved as well. Normally I would be down with that content from MXGP2. But we're surviving MXGP3 and we've bowed our way back up into the top 10. It's looking down the middle. The riders in front, you can see those are different lines being taken. Fantastic to see as we battle our way back up into the podium places. The flares are going mental already in this race. Let's look down the inside here for second. And oh, you can see the inside of those corners now really mounded up there. You can really place your bike right next to them. They kind of act like curves, you know, for a circuit. So that's pretty nice to see, as you saw, or didn't, you know, MXGP2 Carreras. Oh, Bogues is down the Dutchman. Just like he's taking a Russian with him as we take the lead on this first lap. From last to first, virtually, as you come to the end of this first lap. Then when we last visited Latvia, MXGP2, it's in these couple of corners where he lost out. The race went into this last corner, we clipped the inside, ran wide. Now also hurling through to grab the win over Greg Hernandez, our old character in the MXGP games. But we've moved on to the Hammer, highly rated Macau rider. Been touring around in Asia, well, in places like the Philippines and China. Worked his way across to Europe, and now he's making his debut here on the MX2 level. Let's go into that hairpin. Tightest corner on the circuit. And now we're coming into this corner, and oh, we're down our first crash. That did not take long in MXGP3. As he landed on that rut, unfortunately. And oh, we almost landed on the back of, oh, this rider as we push him into a rut. Get out of here. Back up into fourth. So he didn't lose too much. As you can see, the leader's just right in front of us. But disappointing, we didn't make it a whole race through without crashing. And the first race as well. We are seeing that contact system much better than the MXGP2 in my opinion. You can actually get right up into a rider's grill without crashing. You don't just wheeze and then you're on the ground. There may be a bit more arcadey, as you see with the graphic style. So he has that arcadey feel rather than, you know, more realistic. It feels like. But I don't know, I don't mind that. As you can see, I'm pretty aggressive rider. So being able to survive that contact now, big plus. It's gone to the third lap of the race. God, this race is flying by even with the extra amount of laps. As we've got a good battle for the lead in front. And Hillman wants to join in. As he get that rear brake on. Go over this right-hander. Then you've got the quickly turn right as well. As oh, we got into that groove there and take over second place. As oh, is that an Italian down near the back? Let's see, we go into the corner of Falls. Just about sticking to that rut. We lost second place though. So there's a bit of a poor scrub, but we battle our way back up into second. Much more of a contest, as you can see in the races compared to qualifying. That 4-second advantage we had in qualifying has been cut in more, well, cut in half, and it's more like 1 second as in MXGP2, that would have been a reset. So it looks like they're a bit more lenient as well on resets in this game from that example. Which is another feature good to see, as I got really frustrated by them at times. The resets. Oh, the Brit's down! Terrible fall for the Husqvarna rider. And now it's just two at the top. And oh, the Swiss rider's down. Our fellow Suzuki rider there from a top 10 position. Terrible to see. There we go, we're battling for the lead. For these last couple of corners, the flip-flops. Have we taken it? Let's go on to the fourth lap of the race. Uncharted territory in the MXGP games for myself here. Do we have the endurance to go another 2 laps? I'd be very shocked if I didn't. You're seeing the battling hard here. Our opponents. Good to see that they're still aggressive as ever. Hopefully not making as many suicidal moves as they did in MXGP2. We'll see. Let's play this game more, get more adept at it as well. So here we go. Oh, not quite getting to that groove. He's sort of very slow into the left hand, and we've almost lost the lead here. But then we go into this left. We have abundance of speed. And a slight scrub there. That's a half scrub. Let's go into this very tricky middle part of the lap here. These hairpins. And you really got to make sure you're getting into that groove on this game. There's no kind of using the whole track like I would in MXGP2 around this place. As well, we've got the Frenchman on my tail. The Yamaha rider. Just got to be careful with him as we approach the final lap of the race. As Herlings is down, the Dutchman is down. Didn't say that much in MXGP2, did I? Then you don't say that much in real life either. Oh, the Swiss rider's having a horrible race, down again. Oh, and I think that's the Russian who's down again as well. So a couple of guys behind having a horror show. As we do another 1:45 and go on to the final lap of the race. As old Bogas is down for the second time. Lots of multiple fallers in this race. Kind of shows that the opponents are, human, which is nice to see. Might throw out some strange results as well, as we saw on occasion there at MXGP2. No, when I said riders are very aggressive, at times, as I said, a bit suicidal. And it did cause the odd strange result. So we go just about getting into that rut. Thought I was running wide for a second as I carried too much speed into the corner. We are seeing not too much track deformation going on. Maybe you can see a bit more of a racing line as the race goes on in these 5 lap races. And maybe those ruts in the middle of the corners are getting a bit deeper, so it does feel like there's a bit more track deformation going on in this game than MXGP2 based on this race. But of course there's many different circuits you're going to visit. Quite sandy surfaces, hard pack, intermediate. So we'll have to see how it feels like on all the different types of surfaces, how it feels in the wet as well. We've got cloudy conditions, intermittent rain, rainy conditions, or a wet track but dry conditions as well, which is pretty freaky to see. As the Swiss rider's down again. He's gone for the hat trick and he has taken it. Well, the Hammer has taken victory in his first MX2 race. What a job from Kev Hillman, as he wins by around 5.5 seconds from the Frenchman. The Brit recovered to third ahead of Herlings in fourth. So despite those falls, those two finishing very well. Ahead of Covington, rounding out the top 5. Ahead of Tomkov, the Russian. And then the home hero in 7th, disappointing on the KTM. Then we've got the Belgium in 8th, Fernandez in 9th, and the South African rounding out the top 10. As you scroll down, there's Bogas in 14th. There's Swiss rider in 17th, and there is the Russian down in 20th, with the Italian coming in last after being an early faller in this race. So a great debut for Kev Hillman, as we get some reputation and credit, prove our skills as well. But will he make it an overall victory by taking the second race win? Let's hopefully go there. As I said, there's a glitch. If you do skip a session, it does skip the second race, but we shouldn't be skipping it, as you just skip time instead. And there we go, it did work. So we are here for the second race in that fell around the Kegums track, as we get the 15-second board. But alongside the Brit, we're revving our engine, holding the clutch in. And that's a decent start there. Actually held the clutch in this time. It does seem to improve it as we're ahead of the Swiss rider behind. And we dive it down the inside, and Frenchman's gone. As Herlings has got the whole shot. I did not realise that Frenchman was not on the bike. And I don't think the bike did for a while either. As we back up into a top 5 now. And really challenging for the front, as we are now the top Suzuki rider past the Swissman. And we're catching Hillman, who of course won the title in real life in MX2 last year. And now he's taking on the big boys in MXGP this year. And see, in MXGP2 he would have been down. As I clipped the back there through the fast left, on the exit at least, as we take the lead. Not doing really any scrubs, just whipping it as, Petrov is down the Bulgarian, and there goes the South African as well. Seeing riders caught up in incidents already in this race. I thought we'd actually see more in this first lap, a bit like the first race, but it's like we're playing a bit nicer so far as well. We run very deep into the ultimate corner on the track, and there is that last corner. That's exactly what we did in Latvia in MXGP2, which cost us that win. Clipping the inside there, and you see that's the same effect in this game, but it just looks a bit more realistic in this game as well. These circuits, much wider, much nicer to ride around. As I said, big difference is the track, and that's what you're seeing is the big difference with this engine. So the Unreal 4 engine, first game released by Milestone with this engine. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with gravel as well. Another off-road game with this engine. As you can see, track deformation pretty nice. Wonder what it's going to look like in that off-road race which is coming out, I believe, in the summer, in a couple of months. And it's a bit like Dirt 4, which of course is coming out very soon, which you've probably already seen on YouTube as well. I'm looking forward to that game. Not sure I actually play it on this channel though, because there's another game coming out at the same time which I really do want to play, which I've never owned as well. And it's a PS4 exclusive, so you might actually see some PS4 action on this channel for the first time as well, as I haven't really played my PS4 much since getting it a few months ago. I've only been playing Assassin's Creed Unity, which is by far the worst Assassin's Creed game I've played, and definitely the most frustrating. There's the home hero's down, he's taken Fernandez with him, he's taken Steve. We've had a pole up behind. There it goes, the Yamaha of the Frenchman as well. 4 of the top 10 were down in that incident. Big incident behind. Of course, Hillman doesn't even realise it's happening. He's just leading at the front in the 43s on this third lap. Around halfway through the race now. And I've recently just started playing Watch Dogs on the PS4, and Watch Dogs is actually pretty decent so far, considering what people have been saying about it. What my friends have been saying about it has actually been pretty positive, and I've got to agree with them so far, but we'll see as the game progresses for Watch Dogs. Only a couple of hours into it, but that's mainly what I've been playing on PS4. I've got loads of games on it now, I just need to find time to play them, and as I said, the racing game that's coming out this week, very much could see that on this channel, as I've only played really a demo of that game, or of that series. That's it. When I had a PS2, I think it was PS2, or probably wasn't PS1, it's probably PS2. That's when I started getting the odd PlayStation magazine. I played quite a few demos as well, games. And that's how I got into Burnout 2. Played a demo of that from one of those magazines, and yeah, that's how I got into the Burnout series, and that's a pretty good choice, getting into that series. Great series, as you've probably seen with Burnout Paradise, which I played through on this channel. I probably will try and find time to actually 100% that game, but at the moment, so many games to play. Even racing games. So I was making a list, the amount of racing games which are coming out this year. It's in double figures. With MXGP3, this game being one of the first. So like Formula Fusion, which is pretty interesting, but hasn't had the best response. Now that it's come out of early access, is now a full version of the game. Doesn't seem like many people are actually impressed by it, but I might get that. But similar to the game, as I said, it's coming out this week, which I probably will show on this channel. Instead of Dirt 4, I probably will show some Dirt 4, but you know, it might be some time before we do it. The Frenchman is down again on that Yamaha. So on the penultimate lap of this race, just cruising at the front. I've probably got to turn the difficulty up to hard almost immediately now after this outing. So we're definitely not medium level. As if you're eagle-eyed and actually follow this channel, you probably would have noticed that, yeah, I did do this race and the other wildcard race as well before in this game. Before, as I said, most of them released a bug fix, a little bug fix anyway. So I wanted to restart it after that. Let's see if it's actually a bit better. Doesn't seem like it's changed much, to be honest. But I'm enjoying this game nonetheless, despite its issues, I would say, with the PC port. And there's been lots of issues reported as well, the PC port, with loads of glitches, meaning people can't race. I've had it online as well. Online is terrible at the moment for Mars. I don't know what they're trying to do with online for this game. If they have any servers running for it, it doesn't feel like it at times. I will show you some online racing to show it off, but yeah, not impressive online so far in MXGP3. It's just another case of the company not really managing it that well. It's a bit like, say, F1 2015 and 16 or the past few F1 games for Codemasters as well. Online has been by far the weakest component of that game. Even though I know F1 2016, very sound single player wise, but online, barely anyone's playing online. That was even after like a month or two of the game coming out. So I hope Cody's do actually fix online for 17, but it looks like they're focused on other areas again. The classic cars, which is nice to see in the F1 games, but as I said, there's perhaps some more pressing matters to address in those games. While they're bringing out a hand-selected few cars to put in their game and kind of pad out. In this like single player, it's kind of padding out. If you're doing invitational events like you do in Project Cars, you know, in invitational events for the older vehicles. As older Swiss rider's down, he's had a mare for 2 races, but not for the hammer as he takes the overall in Latvia. Nice slowdown as well when you go over the line. Compared to MXGP2, as you win by almost 10 seconds from Herdins. He's the only guy in the same race. There's a Brit in 3rd, Bogues in 4th. The home hero makes it a top 5 in the second race, covered in 6th. Tomkov 7th. Fernandez recovers to 8th. The Swiss rider, despite going down on that last lap, in 9th in the top 10. And there's the Russian in 10th, having a clean race and getting a good result. So there is the overall standings after this wildcard outing in Latvia. Won it by 10 points from Herdins and the Brit. Frenchman in 4th despite a poor second race. Covington takes the top 5 position just ahead of the home hero. Tomkov in 7th, Bogues 8th, Fernandez 9th, and the Belgian in 10th. So fantastic debut outing. As I said, I'm probably going to change it really up to hard now for the second wildcard outing as we improve our skills. And let's go to Britain.